we'll be talking about planning in 2020. How do you plan? What goes into your planning? I have here our usual counselor, Reverend Annan, here with me. Reverend, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And I will be engaging him shortly. I want you to also send us your questions for him if you do have on the WhatsApp number that we'll put on the screen. But first of all, we've been on the street asking people what goes into their planning. Hear them out.
My plans are to move where I'm at. My work to go and get a better salary. Yes. Change job, yes. If I change the job and I'll get better salary. That's why I went in there at the first. Then I'll get listen. Then we'll be a beautiful wife too. I have a baby, but I don't have a wife. So I want to be responsible because in Ghana, if you have a child, it's like you are not responsible. So I told God that yes, I want to be responsible this year. Beautiful job, nice job, big salary, and have a wife. Yes.
Yeah, it's about work. I see that the economy is not good, and things are getting harder. And we can see some prophecies and hear all those things. So this year we pray that God will take us far, and our works and everything. God will put that things in place for us.
So some people, when you ask them, they talk about they want to get married, they want to buy a house, they want to buy a car, they want to get a job. Are there any of those things that you want to achieve specifically that you can outline?
Okay, as for marriage aspect, I am married already. So now what I need is more money to take care of my family. So I need more money.
Guidance, peace and prosperity, not only for myself, not only for my family, but for the rest of the world and Ghana in particular. In the fact that we are entering into a political year, which is a general election, I know that the dilemma will change with time, but we pray that God come in so that the whole process will be peaceful.
It's an election year, and as a professional myself, this is where more of the election activities and the political activities are going to be at its peak. And so I expect more from the political leaders, more from the media, more from the security to tighten security ahead of the elections, and a general peaceful environment as we warm up for the elections 2020. So those are my expectations.
Lots of expectations there, but the first man, he has an expectation that I'm sure runs through a lot of other people's expectations. He wants to get married. He has a child, but he doesn't have a wife. He wants to get married. He wants to get a good job. He wants to buy a car. I think he wants to move from where he lives now. I'm sure that that's for one person, but there are lots of people who have similar expectations. But how do you bridge the gap between plans and planning? You know, you have the plans. You plan to do this and that, but how do you actually plan to achieve it? Let's talk to Reverend Daniel Annan, who's here in the studio with me. Please don't call the line. Just send us a WhatsApp message. What's your New Year plan and how should you go about it? Rev, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Take it away. I'm just going to start. Let you go on and talk to us about bridging the gap between plans and planning. So you have your plans or you have your goals to achieve. How do you plan to achieve that goal? Where do you start from?
We start from preparation. Preparation programs and prudence. I'll add the word prudence to it because quite often people make unrealistic goals. So you see that the wisdom behind what they are talking about is quite limited and quite shallow because whatever plans that you have, it should be measured. So you have realistic goals. You want to have a car, you want to have a wife, want to move. You ask yourself, how much is your salary?
Is it feasible?
Is it feasible? So,
but you can also believe that God will open doors. And
God opens doors. Preparation must meet an opportunity before the blessings will materialize. Preparations must meet an opportunity before the blessings will materialize. God will never give something to you if you are not prepared. So quite often people always want to live in a dream field that they expect that something magical, something miraculous. And they have stayed in that arena for so many years and nothing is happening because they are not planning, they are not having programs, they are not doing enough preparations, in terms of spiritual preparation, in terms of financial preparations, in terms of social preparations, in terms of emotional preparations, in terms of physical preparation, even their health. They don't do anything, but they expect that once I have hopes, once I have aspirations, I'm going to get it. It doesn't work like that, because quite often your seed will determine your harvest.
So let's look at this gentleman who Komla spoke to. He's the first person that Komla spoke to. He has a child, but he doesn't have a woman in his life. I don't know what job he does, but let's assume that he is able to make like 1,000 cedis or 1,500 cedis a month. What do you suggest he should do?
First of all, that man, if I want to critically analyze him, what is his goal in life? What in terms of priority, which comes first?
Okay, I don't know.
Good. When you look at the man, you see that it's not marriage that he needs.
Well, why do you think? You might be wrong? You know, you may
I might be wrong. But you look at the conversation beyond the marriage, and you see that you don't have a place to live.
I see.
It doesn't work. The question is, which ones will come first? The prioritizing of things. First things first. First of all, if that man, I'm working on that man, I want to work on that man to win himself back and to build his financial capacity. If he builds his financial capacity, then he'll be able to take care of himself. He'll be able to find a suitable accommodation. Then he'll be able to carry somebody's responsibility. If that has not been worked out, then I'm afraid he'll get married and will bring troubles to the woman. When you look at that man, he needs that. The second thing, that when I analyze the man, you have to ask yourself that he himself, where does he want to be? When he closes, where does he want to go? Maybe when you look at the scale of preference, you see that maybe marriage will be forced.
Okay. Maybe where to live is perhaps the first thing for him.
Financial capacity first.
Financial
because he said,
okay.
I'll move out from where the job I'm doing to get a better job. So it means he has financial insecurity. So he has to build his finances first. Then he will be able to look at the infrastructure things that maybe to get a suitable. I'm not saying you should build a house, but you should get a suitable home where he can house himself and the wife to be and the child he has. So then you look at that. Then the third thing that if you ask yourself, is he even prepared psychologically to take somebody as a wife, or he just want to have sex or have babies? It's a serious matter because somebody, when you ask the reason why are you marrying, I'm growing.
You don't know.
I'm growing, so I need to make babies. So when the woman comes in, the woman is a baby machine.
I see.
And that's that. So you need to rearrange that person's mindset well before you look at that marriage aspect. Other than that, you begin to have problems and challenges.
So there's the financial, so the things that you want to do, are you financially prepared? This is my takeaway. The things that you want to do, are you financially prepared to do it? The list that you have, which one is of priority? And you need to list the things, your wish list. Put them together and look at what's priority and look at what you are able to financially acquire. And then you work it out in your mind, the mental capacity. I'm going to read some of your messages and then we'll get some more on that as well. And this one says, good evening. If you plan, you need to factor in how much you earn and make sure you don't spend on things that are not on your plan list. That's someone's contribution. Reverend Annan coming in there. Okay, we're not talking NIA at the moment. This one says, it's a very good plan. This year, I want to be better than last year in all aspects of my life. That's all. From Abraham from Tuba. Abraham, I don't know where you are and where you want to be, or wherever you want to be, you just have to put it on a priority list and look at which one comes first, which one follows, and which other ones come beneath. And then you can probably take it from there. Adam says success, commitment and knowledge, success, good health, devoid of calamities. You know what to do. We've given you the blueprint. Hello, Pulse News. I have a plan of working at Multimedia Group. Okay. You can bring an application. You never know. But you just have to have the skills, right? The skills with which we work. If you fit in, I'm sure you certainly get a job. The skills and the qualification. if you do have those skills, I'm sure we'll certainly get there. Esufu Awini Musa says, I have a 2020 budget plan, but the biggest and summary of it all is to be an entrepreneur. Reverend Annan, before we go, I'll ask you about this person. What can this person do? Someone who says he wants to be an entrepreneur. I say that because there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk about working for yourself, solving problems, being entrepreneurs. But not everybody feels like they are meant to, you know, create jobs, or that they are meant to be entrepreneurs. For some people, it would take some time to build them to get there. But this is someone's New Year resolution. He wants to be an entrepreneur. I don't know where he is, but we can start from an average person's situation and how you can move into entrepreneur. Last message says, my plan is to improve my financial standards and have a cheerful woman to marry after my 2019 hard work. From Butuo in Subin, Amia. A lot of people want to get married, by the way. But let's talk about those who want to be entrepreneurs. If at the moment you work for somebody, again, we'll come back to, let's say you're earning 1,000 cedis, if it's even 500. So between 500 and 1,500, you want to be an entrepreneur, do something, yourself, rather than work for someone. Where can you start?
If you work for somebody, or you are with an organization, or any salary, you must adopt the 60-20-20 principle. The 60-20 principle is that make sure that your salary, you don't eat beyond 60%. You save 20.
Okay.
There must be a 20% savings, and there must be a 20% for investment. Because when you begin to accumulate your investment, it creates capital for you to reinvest, or to do something else. If you are somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, wealth creation is very simple. You need to identify these things and you create wealth first. First of all, know yourself. What do you have? Know yourself, the skill that you have, your mental capacity, the environment that you live, your background, where you are coming from. With this, you begin to make something out for yourself.
What can you do with those things?
Yes. First of all, look for a problem. It could be very many problems. Anybody who solves problems creates wealth. When you look at the 10 employable skills according to UNDP, there are people who think, there are people who solve problems. I've been checking for 3 years. There are not people who are into manufacturing. There are people who think, who use what they have to create their own wealth. So when you are starting any business, don't start businesses with loans. Don't. There are things that are always available to you to make wealth. 1, relationship. 2, your vision that you carry. The God factor that you have. The property that you have. I'm not saying building. It could be a bicycle. It could be a motorcycle. That motorcycle can do delivery. That bicycle can do delivery. Your vehicle can do Uber. Your house can be a manufacturing plant for you. Make do with what you have to create your own wealth. Above all, the God factor is always important. Without him, we don't succeed.
All right. Well, we've run out of time, but certainly, every day we don't have enough time to get into all of these, because we asked you to send in your messages. We're wrapping up for Business Live, but I hope that it's not about the length, it's about the quality of the information, and I hope that this will actually impact you. Those of you who says you're hoping to start poultry farms, etc., here is a plan for you. 60-20-20. 60-20-20, how you save. Then you can get the Reverend Annan. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Reverend Daniel Annan is our usual counselor here on the show, talking you through how to plan. As we go along in the week, we'll do more of planning, because it's still 365 days. We've just done 3 of it. My name is Gifty Andopia. It's been a pleasure coming your way. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more news and information.